Well, we're not live, actually. We are recording. Hello, everybody. So this is Nikki coming from Midhurst and sharing the healing insight with you. And I was chatting with my beautiful friend Clara this week. And I was like, oh, we must talk about that. Let me bring you on. And so, Clara, just to introduce you to everybody, Clara, it's Clara Apollo. If you have read my Healing Insight book, you will have remembered Clara was my Qigong teacher. So Clara was the last piece, really, of my healing puzzle in my recovery from lupus that really supported me to get back into my body and to start moving through my body and bringing energy through the body in a kind of different way. And I would say, I'm just going to run with this for a moment. I would say the greatest gift, two of the greatest gifts. So one was the art of letting go that Qigong taught me, and coming into emptiness and stillness. And the second was the knowing my center and coming into my center. So for anyone that's kind of picking up the healing insight and starting to come to that practice, we ground, we soften, and that kind of talking into the Wu Chi, which moves into that, and then we activate this kind of being of heaven and of earth, and dropping into the center and the heart, and all of a sudden there's so much that we can share. So we're going to stay focused. This is the first time, but Clara, welcome. Thank you for coming in, and just looking forward to a conversation and a sharing with you today.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, my love.
Thank you. Heart. So
heart. Here we go.
Set the intention. We just before we came on, we're like, okay, let's just take a moment. Clara got her heart bowl out and gave it a clunk as we clunk the heart bowl gently and delicately and gracefully. But the desire to create sacred space. So let's start with that. Yeah, I will be quiet because when I speak, it overrides it. So
yes, I think there's also this topic of heart song, which is very much present in my Qigong personal practice and sharing with others, has dropped in over the last few months. It's around the connection from the heart to the throat, that we're speaking the truth from our hearts. And that idea of resonance and frequency, and your resonance, your frequency, and this song that wants to come through you. And then it's like, yes, so then it's the sound. The sound is such an important part of healing as well. So to bring in this very special heart bowl, I said it's been attuned, it's a Peter Hess therapeutic one, and it's just lovely to bring us into that heart coherence together. So if you just want to close your eyes, take a deep breath in and receive.
My heart is just to speak, my heart's quite activated now, and I love when I am working to do this kind of as a transmission. So just inviting everyone to also connect with us and that heart level as well. It would be lovely.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you. It reminds me of a dear friend, Ray Savage, who is good friends with Chloe Goodchild, that sings a song, and those words were coming in that moment that is beyond right doing and beyond wrongdoing. There is a field, and I will meet you there. And that heart field, that heart space, is a beautiful place. I hope I got the words right, but you get the sentiment. That heart field and that heart space for us to make present and to drop into is such a beautiful gift and reminder in our everyday, just to that we have that available to us, our capacity and our ability for love, and to create these beautiful heart fields beyond judgment, beyond right doing, beyond wrongdoing, in this beautiful field. It just felt as that sound was moving out, that's a space for us to drop into.
And it's that it expands, doesn't it? The sound waves help the energy of the heart to expand. But then you're so right, we also need to be able to receive. And so we tune in to the giving and receiving energy that's natural of the heart. Just as the breath, you can't breathe out before you've breathed in. And so to trust that if you're a giver, if you really helping a lot of other people all the time, then where are you receiving? And so to receive sound is a really lovely thing to let yourself do, and it brings you into your presence and your being and your power. Yeah. From where you can then serve from there.
Yeah. More. Can I share also? Sorry, this video is going to be full of little snippets that are going to be helpful for people. So what you just said there about you can't breathe in until you've breathed out, that's something that I share so frequently with my clients, anyone that's struggling with anxiety, stress, and I'm going to invite everyone to do it now. So if you breathe in just gently, a gentle inward breath, we don't need to control the inward breath, and I think that's really key and different to a lot of what gets taught. But if we just have a gentle inward breath and then exhale, and then keep exhaling. So exhale more fully than you think you can, and then breathe in. And for so many people, so just breathe at your own pace, but for so many people, that deeper exhalation, which we know from HeartMath, breathing, just a longer exhalation than inhalation, is so important. But that's another thing that came from Qigong and the lung openers.
Yeah.
So as you breathe in, you're breathing up. As you exhale, and exhaling more fully than you think you can. And then you're emptying the stagnant air up the lungs. Do you remember finding that?
Yeah. That was just amazing. And the first time that I was led in that was by my teachers, that we did like a forward bend down, and then we kind of like really emptied the lungs. And I don't think I'd ever done that to that degree before. And then when you breathe in again, you feel your belly and your chest, and you just feel something major is cleared. And then your breathing just finds its own rhythm after that, and your eyes feel brighter, and you just feel like, I got more oxygen going on here. But the other piece that I find really helpful, as you were so rightly saying, when you lengthen the exhalation, it brings you into parasympathetic nervous system. And we need this wherever we can at the moment, because our culture runs on stress. And if we want to be in our heart frequency, we need to know how to really bring ourselves into healing as much as we can. And something as simple as a longer exhalation, that was a bit of an eye-opener for me. It's like, that is so simple. I can do that wherever I am. And then, as you say, we can take it a little bit more extreme if we want to do full clearing, but that takes us into a different sort of exercise. So yeah, I think it's a very powerful tool, that longer exhale.
Yeah, I remember having that aha moment, and I see it when, I have clients here, and we do the exhalation. They're like, wow, I have all the air in my lungs. And didn't know.
Yeah, there's some stats on like the amount of air, that residual air that is just left in the lungs from like years before. You don't think about it unless you're doing your yoga and your pranayama and your breath work or whatever. That's a different approach. And as you were saying, we never sort of force or push the breath in Qigong, which is more like breath play, I feel, rather than breath work. And there's a place for it all. Don't get me wrong. It's not one or the other, because I've had some transformations within myself around breath work, but I also went to sleep in a breath work session because I needed to. But that idea of working with the rhythm of your breath, with the wisdom of your breath, and then this gentle intention to just lengthen that exhale, it brings you back to presence and choice and self-care. Yeah. And it's so simple, so effective. We'll see how you get on. Let us know. Write on a postcard. Let us know.
that point, because you're talking about coming into heart, and I feel to come into heart, like we really need to be embodied. We really need to come into the body. And I think the breath, and if you want to speak to that, Clara, the breath seems to be the easiest way to assist in coming into body. And maybe let us describe what that is, what that looks like, what that feels like to be embodied, because this is the spiritual journey as far as I can kind of see, what has made sense to me, particularly through that process of healing my physical body and being in pain for years and years and years, and the almost dissociation from the physical and the moving out of that. So the power, of course, is to embody our spiritual light now, to activate the DNA, to switch on the gifts, to use the holy temple as the body, the kingdom of heaven. Bring the Holy Spirit into the kingdom of heaven. This is, the vessel and the vehicle. Can you speak to that, to the breath, and how that helps us to embody? What's going on there for you when you're playing with that?
Playing with the breath, that's such a great question. It's a really big topic as well. This embodiment piece, we hear about it, we read it, but how do we do it? Because so many of us don't feel safe in our bodies, and so we disassociate. Where is our consciousness anyway? Is it actually inside, or is it, there's all that perception going on, the quantum field outside. But what about this piece, as you say so rightly, this temple, this amazing vehicle of human body? I mean, oh my goodness, how this all works is utterly marvelous miracle, right? But if we don't feel safe in it, how do we use it well? How do we honor it?
And if it's full of stress and emotion and, it's painful, it's holding all of
exactly. It holds everything. But that's why when we come into chi practice, it's having other mindful practices, we get a chance to listen, because often the body is kicking off because you're not listening to it. And then maybe being supported. So the thing about the breath assisting you with embodiment is because you just bring to the realization that it's already doing it. Because to breathe, you have to receive the breath intimately into your physical being.
So that just that word receiving the breath, because it happens anyway, right? But then there's an awareness of the receiving of the breath. There's awareness of the receiving of the life force that moves us, that lives us, that breathes us. So something just dropped in when you use that word receive.
Yeah, that reminds us of when we were looking at the yin yang aspect of the breath. Do you remember that? And it was like, oh, it seems quite obvious. So I breathe in. That must be a yang because I'm receiving. No, because I'm taking it in. It's filling me up with this vital life force, because we get chi as well as oxygen when we breathe. And then when we breathe out, we always feel more relaxed. So that must be the yin. It's like, no. Like you say, we don't have to think about breathing. It automatically happens. So here comes in more relaxation around trusting that you are going to breathe in. And then you can softly receive. You notice how because you're softer in your system, you can receive deeper. And then that is a yin aspect to the breath. So the expression, the exhalation becomes the yang aspect, but it's not a big full-on pushy yang. It's just a natural expression of gratitude for that gift of life that your inhalation has just given to you. And within the in and the out breath, there's aspects of yin yang as well. It's quite a nice one to kind of look at. But that was one of those big ahas for me, to just receive the breath. What? Oh yeah. And then that reminds you to soften your belly so that you can take it deeper. And trust.
Okay, so that I'm gonna jump us out of qigong a little bit, but because that was the theme that I was going to speak to this week before I had a conversation with you, is this receiving. And what you're talking there with the qigong is a conscious receiving. It's of being aware of receiving. It's bringing the mind, the awareness into the receiving and noticing where the air is flowing in your body, noticing how it feels, noticing how it's replenishing. that kind of quality of life force or essence. But this receiving, this thing called receiving.
Are you receiving me?
I'm not very good at it. And that's partially why I wanted to speak to it, because I had a personal experience this week where I'm a giver. I've always been a giver. It's in my nature to hold space, to listen, to want to help. I'm, naturally set up as a healer. It's just, I see or feel something that's discordant or needs harmony, needs balancing, and it's almost like my body, my being will want to harmonize things that are not in harmony and balance. And so that, that's a pull or a call so that I can probably feel more settled in myself. I mean, it's no doubt to for me as well. But what I'm not very good at when I'm processing, I've got so used to transmuting energy, clearing energy, But when I am, it feels like I'm going to take a step back and go into big picture in terms of more of the collective energy and where we are now, because it feels like we're at quite a heightened point, way more light on the planet than ever before, which is shining a light on all of the dark and all of the corruption and all of the fear-based programming and control systems. So we've, everything is rising in equal measure. So there then comes this stress, if you like, of how we navigate this heightened energy, how we can receive, be in grace, love, flow, while we're still bearing witness to and interacting with stress, lack, the poverty, struggle. People are finding it quite stressful, overwhelm, overload. And of course, when stress comes in, can't think clearly, can't think properly, can't see clearly. We're kind of a bit more cut off, disconnected from our inner guidance and what feels right. We're cut off from the heart energy. So we're really existing in quite a strong field of polarity at the moment, as I kind of see and read it. And I'm noticing that it at times has felt too much for me to do this. So just the load that individuals are carrying seems to be very heightened. A lot of health issues, a lot of worries and concerns about health for people, work, things not feeling in alignment. There's so much that's coming to the surface as we go through this collective ascension process of moving from fear-based reality to love-based reality. And there's a lot for us to do, but the reason I wanted to bring this in as a theme is going, okay, if this is happening for me, this is definitely happening for everybody.
Oh, sure.
And what do we then do with that? So I just wanted to flag to all of those people who are feeling something similar to me or in those roles of giving, the healers, the carers, whether that's caring as a mum for a child in school, whether it's caring for an elderly parent or whatever that may be, or actually in a caring capacity and role. Sometimes it feels like, or at times now it is feeling like it's too much for one person. And so the call to ask for help. Let me know if there's anything I'm missing, but asking for help, B, allowing yourself to actually receive help when it's offered to you, rather than saying, I'm okay, thanks, it's okay, I've got it, I'll be all right.
Well, this, if I can just jump in, that's a bit of that's a pattern that we have. I'll be all right, I'll be fine, and I've got this in me too, as the giver, as the caregiver, and all of that. A lot of us have, and it is a conditioning. It's not healthful. We are not supposed to do everything on our own. It's just a fallacy. It's not real. It's like there's different parts of the community, different people, different gifts in the community for a reason, and this whole thing about, she's a self-made millionaire or whatever, she did it all on her own. I'm sorry, I don't think that's even possible to do. There will be people behind successful people, that always are. what I was going to say when you were saying the list of asking for help, I think the first thing is realizing that you need it, and realizing that you can actually ask for it without feeling shamed. Like, it's okay to ask for help. In fact, if you ask for help, someone else will be able to rise up and go, I can help you with that. And then you get this synergistic team thing going on. And it becomes more of a joy than a pull down. But I want to drop the word space in here as well. So I can come back to that in a minute, but yeah.
Which goes straight back to the breath. So as soon as you say space, I come to breathe.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Give breathing space. And that's part of our language. Give yourself some breathing space. Yes. I always think it's funny that smokers are allowed to go out for their 5-minute break in offices and stuff. But what about if you want to go out and do a 5-minute breath practice? Obviously not in the smoking area, because it's not going to be smelling. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I often wonder that you're breathing. And I often also think people who smoke are actually wanting to connect with their breath. There's something that they viscerally do that through the smoke, whereas we do it through our breath play. And it's an essential part. It gives us space to resource, to self-care, and to listen. What is it I need right now? Before anything or anyone else. And no, I'm not being selfish. We need to banish that word in the self-help industry. It's about, what do I need first so that I can be of better service? It's as simple as that. There's a big shift that needs to occur within us to allow it to occur.
The selfish is a big one. I remember needing to work through that. And shifting it into self-honor. Yeah,
exactly. And none of us selfish anyway, so it's a load of BS. Where did that word even come from? And so breaking it down and looking at the energy behind words like that kind of try and contract you and keep you small and disempower you. Your breath is going to bring you into your self-empowerment every time you bring your consciousness to it, because you're inhaling spirit. You are bringing spirit into your body. You're powering up with the universal life force. Wow. Yeah.
And it's expansive, isn't it? And we're so used to being contracted and not allowing ourselves to expand and to celebrate the expansion also of others. If we're moving away from this thing of competition, of you or me, and we're moving into the and of you and me, and I can celebrate you and I can celebrate myself as well. That's not been allowed. And not been allowed.
No, it's strange, isn't it?
Celebrated.
It's in the culture, isn't it? Of like, if you celebrate your wins, it's like, why are you bigging yourself up? It's like, well, I did something good and it was cool and I enjoyed it, and there's an expansion within me. I just want to share it with you.
Yeah.
And to be told that I can't do that because you're blowing your own trumpet or whatever. It's like my trumpet goes, woo. It's like, I was just expressing this natural expansion.
Yeah, so bring that back out.
Yeah. La, la, here we are. And to honor other people doing it. Like you say, we're not in competition. That is like not true. How often do you, when you see other people that succeed in things, you're happy for them. You're really pleased that's working.
Yeah. So so moving from the or to the and the togetherness. So that's probably point 3 in the recognizing I'm in overwhelm, or I need, or I want. It's not even needing, just wanting a bit of support, wanting a bit of help. Everyone gives a different perspective to things.
Yeah.
And if sometimes though we don't need that, we just need a space, like you say.
Yeah.
We need space to listen, to be heard, space to hear our own voices. And then the asking, the receiving bit, allowing ourselves to, when somebody offers, to say, can I talk this through with you? Thank you.
Thank you. And not immediately go into, and if you do that, I'll do that for you straight away. Like, I'm immediately in debt to someone. Because when you ask someone to help you, you're honoring them. You're honoring their gifts that you're asking them because you know that there's someone that can help. And the reciprocation is going to happen anyway,
It just comes and goes around, doesn't it? And that's beautiful. Yeah. So to be in the flow, to be in divine flow, all part, if we come back to the law of one, all part of divine intelligence, necessary and important parts of the whole. And so we're servicing the whole, we're servicing the self also. And giving ourselves what we need. I'm very clear in the shift that we do this together, and it's a different way of doing things. But it's beautiful. I just did this last week when I had a bit of a moment. Something was going on locally, and you're very good at doing it. And my friend Lindsay, who's in Portugal, both of you were like, "You okay? You're on my mind." And it's just a reaching out that is lovely. So when you get that reaching out, if people do reach out, if you're not getting people reach out and there's a belief or a program around there's no support, then change that belief that there is support for me, that I am supported. That's really important, because you can shift your reality to there being support. But there's a different thing, having support and actually allowing yourself to receive it. So that's my
be the receiver. Be on the receiving end of support, and think about how much you have supported others in the past. And as we said, what goes around comes around. And I love what you said about when you serve yourself, you're serving the whole. Yes, let's reprogram that in. So when I look after myself, I'm looking after everyone else, because when I'm self-full, when I've got enough within me, I'm not going to be a burden to anyone else. I'm going to be taken care, and then I can serve from the overspill.
Yeah, and
so
you also
shift it.
Yeah, you're shifting your frequency, which adds to the collective frequency. Yes. So, if we work with frequency, so I'm going to come back to what you were talking to me about in terms of your heart song. So tell me about heart songs.
Heart song is here. Oh yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to frame it, Clara, in that another thing that you taught me with the Qigong. So it wasn't just postures, movements, processes. It was about letting the energy move you, letting the chi move through you, letting it speak to you, listening to it, allowing. So there was a lot of fluidity with the way in which you taught Qigong that I really loved, and it allowed me to really tune into my own body and my own chi. So in honor of that kind of letting the chi speak, so let's see what it's speaking with for you. Yeah,
absolutely. This focus on heart frequency, heart energy, all of that, as you said, the Heart Math Institute, loads of science around it. Where does this land within the Qigong practice? Because we always start with building up our foundation in the lower dantian. So this is the energy center that exists co-spatially with the sacral chakra. And we tend to refer to that as our center of balance. And it is physically our center of balance. And it is a support for the heart. So it will always be the first place that we go to. But then the middle dantian at the heart level is the center of the chakra system. It's the center between heaven and earth. So we're playing with these two centers of balance within us, in the belly and in the heart. And so I love that, because to feel that the heart, in order for the heart to be able to feel safe to express and open, it needs to feel safe. And to give the heart the foundation of the lower dantian energetically is like the rose at the heart has got its stem linked down into the deep resource of the Jing essence water in the cauldron of the belly. And so that is so important, as is being able to speak and express your truth and let yourself be heard. So within the Qigong arena, there's all these healing sounds, which are so lovely to get into. There's also spontaneous sounds like the light language and sonic transmissions. And this is what has been coming in for me to play with, is that as I move, as I exhale, every exhalation is an opportunity for you to make a sound, if you want to.
Love that.
Which is so great. So we'll be doing the Great Wheel of Chi, bringing the arms up, and then we'll connect us in with the earth element and the spleen and the bass line. But the heart wants to sing. What's that? That there's a whole thing around when your heart sings, the world sings with you. And it's true, because you are so connected with your specific aspect of Great Spirit that lives within you, that is a part of that song that wants to express through you. And so we are in the summer season here. I'm recording this just the week before the solstice, and we're in the fire season. And when I was doing my training, I was slightly concerned about this, because I have triple fire going through me with Leo and Sagittarius and stuff. And I thought, if I go play with fire, will I spontaneously combust? And what I found was because it was grounded earth, we had the earth in there, the water in there, and the air and the breath, then the fire was able to express in its true sense, which is connection to spirit.
Holy fire.
Holy fire, Batman.
And it's that essence of pure creativity, isn't it? I can see that as you're speaking, how it just wants to birth through you.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. It's an essential part of our creative nature, which we know is also linked to the belly and sacral chakra. So there we are, those two parts playing such an important role for one another there. The water and the fire in the sacred dance of opposites will inspire you onwards and bring you into stillness. But the heart song piece is it's just landed. It probably landed about a couple of months ago for me. I'm in the middle of just done the first course of it for a month. I'm doing online courses, and we've got the heart song, the solstice heart song, on the 22nd of June. That's next Thursday evening, which anyone's invited to who is feeling, there's something here for me.
Hearing the heart call.
Hearing the heart call, exactly. And like you say, I always allow space for spontaneity in the sessions that I offer, because then it makes it your own. It means that there's space for your heart song to come through, for you to play, and for you to hear that. And I'm not having any people that say, I don't like the sound of my own voice. I feel like going, just stop it. This is spirit speaking through you. Can you honor that? I lost my voice, as you know, Nikki, a while back. And that really brought me into that honoring the fact that I can make sound with my voice. And it's like, okay, it sounds like this. It's not going to sound like anyone else, but it's your voice and it's your sacred sound. So even if it's just a little bit of humming.
I know I've found particularly when I'm moving through clearings, and there's a lot of emotion in the body, sometimes the sound will come out and it feels very, it's not resonant, it's carrying the discord. Yes. But it's such a beautiful to keep going, to keep toning, because it releases, whether the tears come or not, but it moves through, doesn't it? Until you get to everything is always seeking to come into harmony and balance if we give it space.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm loving so many different bits that I want to pick up about what you're saying.
I know.
But it's gorgeous, and I love that. One of the pieces it was taking me, as we were talking about the breath earlier, I'd had the words release as well. So as we are exhaling, we're releasing, and we do that a lot with, just letting things go, allowing ourselves to let things go. But the toning and the sound feels like much more of an internal vibrational release. So as you are toning, you're releasing, you can feel the vibration within the body that is enabling a movement and a flow and a letting go. And oh my goodness, it is so imperative and so important that we allow ourselves the space to release as we are moving through this planetary ascension into, love-based reality. So, all of the programs, patterns that we've held around unworthiness, lack, not enough, fear, unsafety, you name it, we've all carried it because we've been born into that reality.
Definitely. And to be seen and not heard. It's like going in the corner, that's part of our ancestral inheritance. Stay quiet. So my voice is not okay. I'm not allowed to growl and grunt when I don't feel like there's not very nice things coming through. But you're so right.
Yeah.
There's that such an honouring of yourself to let those sounds come through. It's not about singing in tune. It's not about being a world-class act. It's about honouring this, as I say, sacred sound within you for all its healing frequencies, right from the gritty, gnarly bits to the highest highs of ecstasy. You know, we've got the spectrum, we've got the rainbow of it all.
Yeah.
To play with.
No, it's awesome.
It's magical, actually.
I had a piece there, but I've just gone into that divine expression of the high frequency, because that's where we're moving, and that's where we're heading, isn't it? That's what I was going to say. So for many people also that, you know, I see through my client work, there's, when we've been around, whether it's anger as a child or pain, I've had a fragile parent that we've not wanted to upset, or you know, the fear of getting it wrong, fear of getting into trouble. So there's so many ways in which we've repressed the throat and not expressed ourselves. But then as we've learned through contrast, so I don't want to be like that, I don't want to be angry, or I don't want to be emotionally unstable or volatile. So we almost take it upon ourselves to not be that, and can get into suppression, even though all those things have caused us pain, and that pain can be locked within the shadow or the inner child, their cellular kind of memory. So what you're describing is, it's a real gift in terms of being able to access that which is kind of trapped emotion, locked away at the core, that just gives us the opportunity to release that frequency through the voice, through the heart song, through, you know, so that we can find, you know, the end goal, which is always beautiful to hold in the vision, which our soul always pull us towards, is the true heart song, which is our passion, which is our joy, which is what lights us up, which is, you know, the bliss, our reason for being here, our reason for being alive, our reason, you know, the blessings of what it is to be in a body with all of these experiences, with our ability to have human love, divine love, earth love. So we've got all that as a beautiful potential open to us, and, you know, to honor the whole, because we're never going to get to all of that if we don't clear out
exactly
the lessons, the teachings, the previous experiences that, you know, are showing us what we don't want, but what we want to move into. Yeah. So it feels like such a gift. I'm really excited to come play.
Yeah, come play. And that piece about needing to clear out, I mean, we cannot get enough clearing right now. There's just, right. It's not, we need to keep clearing everything all as much as possible, because with this new, the heart song, the divine needs space to be able to land in you. And if you're full up of, how can shaking is one of the things we do. You can shake out tension. You can stamp into the earth. The earth can take whatever you need to give her, whatever you need. She transforms it in a very gracious way. And so to stomp on the earth, or to, you know, put your head on the earth and sob if you need to, you know, just really feel her holding you, allows you to soften and allows what is ready to be released. Because our systems don't want to hold on to these toxins. They don't want to hold on to tension, because they're constantly seeking harmony. Of course, we've got that remit. Isn't that amazing? Left to our own devices, that will be found, like with the earth, when the planes stopped in the sky and people weren't driving as much. Look how quickly the earth bounced back. And that's what you can do. You're part of nature. You're part of the earth. You have this potential to come back to balance and harmony when you can give yourself the right space and kindness and, song.
So we're talking giving ourselves a pause.
The pause, the sacred pause, be the pause, be in the pause, be in that liminal space of just being.
And creating sacred space, yeah. Just before the call, Clara, I pulled 2 of the Healing Insight cards.
Oh, yeah, which ones?
And I'm going to share them now. So the first is kind of what we've been talking about, and the second is what we're talking about now. So the first it is a root chakra card.
Okay.
And the root chakra, of course, I might just pop this on full screen so people can see. So stability. So we've got the stability card. Ironic, if it's never ironic, the cards are brilliant for this. I allow myself to give and receive support. I trust in the pathway that unfolds before me. So bringing trust in, recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. So the little messages like you and Lindsay going, how you doing? Thinking of you. All okay kind of thing, letting that be a nudge to pay attention. And what we're talking about with the Qigong, I lovingly support myself with kind thoughts of encouragement, compassion, and understanding. So getting into the, I love you, you're doing really well. It's okay, you've got this, everything's working out. Where's the gift in this? I love that as a statement when things are feeling sticky or tricky. Where's the gift in this?
So this is all linking into another topic that I was leaning into with this self-care bandied about left, right and centre. Be your own best friend. Yes, absolutely. What about self-mothering? Oh, that shifted things for me hugely. Having had a mother who wasn't particularly loving, it's like, we've worked through it. She's who she is. She's done her best. But how can you mother yourself? How can you parent yourself? What would you do for you if you were your mum right now? Your ideal mother energy. Mm. And something around that brings you into that yin softness of like, oh, I just want to be held, or just want to be heard, and anything that helps you disengage that tension that brings you into being held and being heard also brings in parasympathetic nervous system. So you are finding ways in, you're hacking in to your system's ability to self-care on a deep level, and it wants to do that for you.
So another hack, as you described with that, is this, soothing strokes.
Oh yeah.
So just around the backs of the arms, bit down, just as you to receive a hug, again, helps put you in parasympathetic nervous system. But this self-love, I'm not sure I said it earlier, but that was another little thing that came in. Like, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Yes. And that gift of Qigong to integrate all of the body's emotional, mental, astrals, the whole spiritual plane, right down to the physical and the cells, is there with Qigong. Yeah, certainly was with my experience. And
definitely it's there for us to talk about how the body harmonizes itself, but how does the mind, body and the spirit come into harmony for
havening. This is called havening. Yeah,
havening. Oh,
yeah, that's researched as a tool to bring you into parasympathetic. But it is that very self-nurturing, loving. It's okay.
Yes.
Okay. You're okay.
That's right. Reassurance that you've got it. You've got it in. And as that's our pat on the back and recognize when you've achieved things as well. And having times between tasks and not rushing from one to the other, having the breathing space between what you're doing. Why are you in such a hurry? You're not going to get a badge or a medal for being in a hurry. I've got lots of things to do. What's essential? That's another tool that I've been working with. What's actually essential right now? Mm-hmm. And then the priorities get right in order. You'll find you'll let go of things that you had no idea you were going to be letting go of. But when you ask the question, is this essential for me and my evolution? And it's like, if it's not, then I need to do something about it. And that applies to people that may be, been in your life for a long time. You're just growing apart from for whatever reason. Yeah. And that's okay. That happens. And you can let them go with graciousness, knowing that maybe you'll come back round again the spiral at some point, but right now you don't owe anybody anything. You have to take care of yourself. Coming back to that again and again.
Yeah.
No, self space.
Yeah, deep one with relationships. So the other one that's coming in as a card for us today is it's the main third eye card. So our ability to see. And I think this is so important as well, because I don't watch media, TV, moved away from all of it.
Why would we, Nikki? There's nothing in it of any interest.
No. But we hear it's in the field. And so how can we see the beauty? So this card speaks to soar like an eagle. So allowing ourselves to rise above, get a higher perspective, soar like an eagle to find clarity. Things are not always as they seem, which is so true. See the beauty and the gift in everything. So if there is a change or if there is a challenge, find the gift. Where's the gift in this? Because usually, it's just an opportunity for more growth or more expansion if we see it that way and if we allow that. Pay attention to the messages that are gifted to you in life and through your imagination. So what are you seeing? What are you noticing? Whether it's little affirmations through your double numbers on the clock, or whether it's feather, whether it's rainbow, whether it's on a car plate reg, or if it's a message in a song. Pay attention, because there is divine love and there is support for all of us, and there is guidance and higher wisdom there that you are bringing through for yourself, and your spirit guides will bring through for you also. So just be aware that there is a higher picture, there is a higher vision, and there is beauty. There is beauty in life. It's just, what we focus on grows. So if we're noticing everything that's not working, everything that's in trauma and stress, as this is moving through and healing, then we can get lost and bogged down in that. So do take time to pay attention to what is working. Beautiful new initiatives that are coming out, the offerings that are available to, that are high frequency, that feel good, that feel heart-based, because that helps us to entrain to a better way of being and living. And then dare to dream. Dare to dream and create a vision for your life. You are the creator of your reality.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this third eye is also the upper dantian. So it's the one that's supported by the heart and the belly. So you can see that connection between the Shen, which is named for spirit, and the heart that then resonates with the upper dantian. So they act like the chakras act as a filing cabinet. So the dantians act like this foundational support, excuse me, for one another. And to go straight into spirit land is great. It's a bit escapism in a way, but when you've got the support, the foundations in place as well. I mean, what happened for me is I was then able to access much more psychically when I felt safe in my body, so my spirit could land here, and then what needed to come through was able to be present more. And I think it's safe. There's another word. I don't know what it is yet, but there's something else as well as safety. Steady. That's it. That was the word that you came up on that first card. When you're steady. Now, steady doesn't mean sort of you're static. Steady means you're taking a steady sense of presence with you wherever you go in your life, and it will be challenged. But it's always there, as you mentioned. It's that center line, the rooting into the earth and up to the galactic center, meeting in the middle of your heart and in your belly. You are taking that wherever you go. It moves with you, and you access it through the breath awareness. When you get sent off center and you know it, you can feel it. Just a few breaths in, remembering that center line is there. And I think when you've had experiences like the Qigong, when it's very tangible and it's real for you, you're then able to revisit it a lot easier because you've already got a pathway to it. Mm-hmm. And I think whatever is helping you, whatever you know helps you, focus on that. Because you say that's what's going to expand and serve you better, give you that inner support. You've got somewhere to go within yourself that is safe, that is steady, that is stable, that is connected to all that is. You're not on your own. You're part of a much bigger play here. We are on the planet at the moment for a reason. We've all been chosen to be here now, and to know how to be strong and robust within this is an important part of it. Otherwise, we can't serve well, So, yeah.
It reminds me of just that fundamental teaching, just to kind of reiterate that with Qigong, we start with the lower dantian. we start with nourishing that deep center of resource, that water element, where we're holding that kind of sense of our deep creativity, but it's solid, it's nourishing, it's nurturing, it's that energy. So what we're talking about in terms of allowing the pause, creating the sacred space, nourishes this well of resource. And then naturally energy rises up to the heart space, so that we can be low and we can open to the world and the universe, the beautiful kind of people around us. And then we open to receive spirit. It's not about going out the body, because this enables us to activate and hold light in the body and be light as we walk around the planet, from the inside out. And I just
that is
loving that.
Such a good point, Nikki. We talk when we know that there's so much light, photonic light coming onto the planet now, and that we're excited about it. We can feel it. It's like, but it can take you out. It's so strong. Hence why having a robust, this word again, physical system to be able to actually hold the light and it not take you out. I mean, I have ups and down days. Sometimes I just don't know which way's up and I have to give myself a few hours off because whoa, was that a solar flare, or there's something going on. But coming back to this ballast within, and you said that, the lower dantian, we always start with that. We actually always start with rooting into the Great Mother, don't we?
Yeah.
Which is part of earth, water. Then we've got air, fire, and so being able to be the vessel to hold more light. I think this is where Qigong is really coming into its own now, because it enables that. Enables you to do that safely.
The embodiment of it, the moving around of creating space for it. Yeah. And the surrender, because it is about surrendering and simply allowing. That space of nothing to do, but the being. So let's take us into this last conversation, because we're at an hour already. But
oh gosh, okay.
Presence. So you just brought it in. That's something that we were going to speak about through that central channel, through our presence.
Yes.
And this is really about mindfulness. It's about how can we be present in each and every moment? How can we be centered? How can we be embodied, not pushed and pulled by life's demands, but have that consciousness, be conscious, be aware, and be in presence. You want to speak to that for?
Yeah, again, it's practice. It's having a daily practice of meditation-based practice, whatever that is for you. It could be out when you're walking the dog, you're in nature. It could be when you're by the beach walking, or it could be your early morning practice or evening practice, something that you consistently are called to do that brings you into your self space, and is something if you don't do, you can get back on it again. We always fall off the wagon. It's going to happen, but it's your choice to get back on it again that builds this tenacity within, this call to know what your presence is. How does it feel to be me? And the more you do it, the more it lands with you, so that when you're pulled away from it, you notice it. I mean, I had this thing where I was helping my lad move house a couple of weekends ago, and it was full on. He was there with his mate, and it was so old school 3D, rushing around, lots of stress. And I thought, this isn't me. This isn't my life at all.
It's moving house, though.
Yeah, I know it's moving, but there's plans. But within that, I was able to be that stable place of, I was still helping and doing and things, but I wasn't letting myself get frazzled by it.
Yeah.
But I did have to go off to the bathroom several times just to be by myself, because there wasn't anywhere else to be, to spend a bit longer on the loo, sort of, because there are ways if you find yourself being really busy, how do you presence yourself in that? Again, it's going back to the feeling of, who am I really? Where do I feel my truth in me? How is my heart feeling here? Do I feel safe? Going back to that self-mothering, self-kindness, and that presence is your frequency, is your vibration, and that's what is informing the field, and that's what we're all back to the one. We're all here to raise the vibration of the planet. We're all doing that individually and as a collective, and so your presence is key with this.
Yeah, it feels very much like, to be in presence is to be embodied. It's to be conscious. It's to be partially in an observer role, but not detached, but to be aware of your mind, your thoughts, to be aware of your energy, and to be grounded. And so, from that place, with the healing insight method, we talk about the coherence of the head, the heart, and the gut.
Yeah.
And, having the head, the heart, and the gut work together, because they have different concerns, if you like, different interests. And so when you're working together as one, there's a unity, there's a unified energy within.
Exactly.
I think. But yeah, grounding is speaking to me, being embodied. And of course, you kind of just said it, in terms of going to the bathroom. Maybe that brings us full circle, and that's a nice place to stop in terms of coming back to the breath.
Yes,
the breath does
breathing
that for
space.
us.
Again, exactly.
When we breathe in, I'm kind of seeing, as you did before, the kind of, the
right wheel of chi,
and bringing it down and bringing ourselves in to the body, and just letting the energy land. So, yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, gorgeous to speak to you. We should do this again. It's been fun.
Definitely. Thank you. Always a joy. And I hope you've enjoyed watching us too.
Yeah. So I will put your website link, Clara, in the description. Clara's a beautiful teacher to learn from. I certainly learned heaps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you have taken the teachings and done such marvels with it. It's like, wow. It was an absolute joy watching you evolve through that whole process of taking on your spiritual embodiment and seeing, where does that want to lead me to? Where am I going? And you did. And look what's happening now. I'm so proud of you. Well done.
Thank you.
Yay.
All right. Well, sending our love to all of you. And
one more dong on the bowl.
Go.
Dong on the bowl.
She's happy singing. All right, wishing you a beautiful solstice, everybody. There will be more light on the planet, so take time to rest and to receive. And we'll be back.